Oh goodness. There's a bunch of different groups, but the two that I can say, and I could be then disputed, contradicted, any of those things, but I would have to say that the Acquisitions Incorporated, as well as the Vox Machina, those two groups have kind of helped build and maintain the adult level of gaming of in a professional standpoint, because these people are professional actors, and some of them are directors, and some of them, they know how to use their voice, they know how to build suspense and tell a really good story, a narrative that can hold you in. I mean, I mean, look at what happened with the show Stranger Things. If it wasn't for Dungeons, or if it wasn't for Matt Mercer and that group, and then Acquisitions Incorporated and that group, you wouldn't have Stranger Things putting Dungeons and Dragons in their story. I almost, I could be wrong, but it feels as if that show was built on some of that fire, some of that excitement that people have been wanting for a while, that wasn't out there for such a long time. It's kind of been simmering and smoldering, but the past 2 years it's exploded, and it's amazing to watch this happen, and me wanting to feel that same thing by trying to tell a narrative is in a similar way of like trying to recreate my own Vox Machina or my own Acquisitions Incorporated or my own, Stranger Things. And that's really fun to me, and seeing if I can kind of get my group to feel that feeling that I have.
Would you say exactly what you just described, which is passion at its finest? Um, Doing it for the love of it instead of trying to be the next name or create your own game and sell that. Doing it for the money, right? Whatever you do, doing it for the money. Would you say that this helps to keep it grounded in life overall? Whatever you do with work.
These guys keep me grounded. They show my faults like every second, and I realize that I am not there yet. I know that I can tell a good story every once in a while. I can describe things in a decent manner, but I know that these people keep me in check, keeping me. Reality is, I need this group of people to show me that not only am I doing a good job, but I'm also staying on the earth and not being up in the clouds going, oh, well, hey, look at me. I'm this. That's not what this is about. The story has to be always reminded that the dungeon master is not the focus. It is the group of people that you're trying to get involved in that story. And if you can't get those people involved in the story, you're not able to, either A, that group isn't right, or B, you're not ready for being a dungeon master yet. And that's important to also understand. But again, if you don't make mistakes, if you don't make those mistakes, then you'll never learn how to resolve issues that you've had before. And that's really important. And again, it's this group of people that helped me do that.
When you say resolving issues, can you walk us through a scenario in the gameplay where everyone's been trapped somewhere, trying to get let out somewhere, and your experience and how that is synonymous with the experience points that are built up in role playing games actually plays a part? Can you parallel that to why what you're saying is relevant?
Yeah, the when you're to find yourself in a scenario that can get you an experience that can get you out of, say, a bad situation, either being a dungeon master or being a player itself. It's hard to find one specific thing, but one of the one of the times was again playing champions 20 years ago. We My character was Ned Nealander, like a psionic type of creature that was German. Finding myself that I had to sacrifice, little Nettie had to sacrifice himself for the entire group, and I knew that that was the only way we'd be able to get out of that situation. So I provoked the because we would have been all crushed by this like 400-foot tall creature. I I had to do the one thing that I thought was the right way to do it when after the fact the GM said, "Well, all you had to do was this," and then I'm like, "Oh," not realizing that there are multiple avenues outside of this scenario. Little Nettie is still unconscious to this day. 20 years later, I know because my friend keeps teasing me about it. He's like, "Oh yeah, little Nettie is still unconscious from being smacked across the earth." But yeah, that those things where you learn either being a player or being a dungeon master, kind of like figuring out what is it that what avenues do you have in order to get yourself out of a tricky situation, whether it being a player that does something wrong or the dungeon master puts you up against a immovable force or immovable object. It takes practice, 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 and you'll still never get it right every single time. It's different every single situation, and it sucks, but it's also exciting.
Brings you to a different mentality, a different paradigm, like you were saying in the beginning. What would you do to be able to consistently stay in that paradigm and not ever have to go back? Like, first of all, what do you do for work?
I'm in the Coast Guard, and I am a communications person. I basically do the radio, the search and rescue, the marine casualty side. When people call up on the radio, I am the person that tries to calm them down. Again, my voice is a little has a frog in it because of I don't know, but normally I'm able to just talk to this person, calm them down if they have if they're in a situation they need help, whether they're out on the water. But Dungeons and Dragons gets me away from that because there are certain times when it's really nasty out there, and I'm hearing some really nasty things on the radio that are really really bad, and I just need to escape. And so going into this world, building this world, is kind of my cathartic resolve. It helps me pull out of that, and it actually, even though it's kind of doom and gloom, it actually keeps me in a good mood because I find myself building something that keeps my interest, and then hopefully it keeps the player's interest as well, and that's really important.